Having high return in the backtest always fails to happen in live trading, even though you have really good win-loss ratio or any other ratio that you use. Traders think that it is because of the wide spread of the broker or market liquidity problem. But what if I tell you everything is in that probability distribution of your backtest return? It means before doing any live trading, by only looking at your backtest probability distribution, you can see why it doesn't happen in live trading. We'll go through some common shapes of backtest returns, and of course with some exaggeration to get the point across. Then for each shape, we're gonna see how that might result in surprising and unexpected behavior in live trading. I would suggest after watching this video, have a look at the shape of your backtest return and probably put it in the comment section. So I divided this video into 4 sections. The first, we're gonna see what return distribution is. What do we mean by that? What is the probability of the return? We're gonna touch on that. Then we go through and see if the backtest result is the result of chance. It's a pure luck that we get good return in the backtest, and it's not gonna happen in the live trading. Then we're gonna see if the backtest result, the return, tell us anything about the big losses and margin call that can happen in live trading. And finally, we're gonna see if the strategy that we use to generate those returns actually has any edge against the market. It has any meaning behind those returns. Any probabilities, we need to define the random variable. In this case, the random variable that we have is daily return. What do I mean by that? Like, it means every day, what is the chance of I get positive return or negative return, and how positive I'm gonna get on how negative I'm gonna get. In other words, every day I check my daily return because it is my focus and see how it behaves. You might have monthly, you might have weekly, 4 hours. You can extend this idea to any time frame that you want. After defining that, then we need to see, okay, how we can calculate the probability. So daily return is a random variable, and the probability of daily return is the focus. Let's assume this is my daily return over 1 month, from 1st of January till the 30th. And every day I calculate the return, and there is a point there. So there are 30 points. Now, I divide my returns into different categories. For example, 8 to 10%, 4 to 6, so forth and so on. Now, for let's say 4 to 6, I need to count the numbers in that bucket. How many of them? Roughly 3. And then what I do here is I need to calculate the probability. Probability is frequency by the all instances. For example, between 4 and 6, I have 3 divided by the whole thing, 30 days. So it is 3 by 30. Now, if I do it for every bucket, I can create a return probability distribution diagram, the one that you can see on the right. So basically for every bucket, I do the same thing and I create the probability distribution. Now, with this probability distribution, if you ask me what is the chances, what is the probability that I get minus, let's say, 4 to minus 2 return, I can just read that diagram. There is also more interesting stuff about this diagram. I can tell the range of the probabilities. Let's say between minus 4 to 0. If I just add up these two probabilities, I can tell what would be the probability of my return if it is between minus 4 and 0. In my example, I did it only for 30 days. What if I have like so many examples, like over a year, 2 years? Then it's gonna be more accurate. Then I can make it like roughly as a continuous. I can fit a curve on top of it and make it continuous. Then I can, with that graph, I can tell like every single range of probability. And because I have so many sample size, my sample size is big, so that number is going to be more accurate. So we need to understand that if the result of backtest is really high, is it really a fluke? Is it pure chance, or actually something is happening? Let's have a look at my daily return distribution. the overall return is actually really high, which means my capital went up so badly. But how is it possible? Most of my return is negative. How it is really high? So the answer is on really little part in here, which means that there are some days that my return is really good, and actually they made up for all of those bad days. So few days with really high returns, but the rest, most of the days, I have negative returns. So now what happens if I go live with this backtest result? The probability of those good days are really low. Yes, they have high return, but the probability and chance is so low. So if I go live with this and just look at the overall return, I might say, okay, everything looks good, but in real live trading, I will keep losing money. Now, the question is what to do. So it is easy. We just don't take into account those little low probability, high return on the right side of this diagram when we do the calculation and analysis on our. Sometimes backtest looks fine with the high return, but when we start using this, all of a sudden we get margin call. We want to see if we can, by any shape in the backtest result, we can predict that, and we can identify that. Now, let's have a look at this return probability, daily return probability. Basically, it tells you that, yeah, generally it is good, but for those really bad days, it has really high negative returns, which means it can lose a lot of money if some rare bad days happen. Now, what would happen if I go live with this backtest result? Well, you're gonna see crazy margin call. Because in bad days, it gets you to the margin call situation, and you're not there to see the good days. All of a sudden, one day, it blows up all of your account and you get margin call. Now, what to do? So basically, when you have this kind of return, you need to make sure you have enough capital in your trading account, because it can easily get you into the margin call. You need to avoid getting margin call in those bad days. So when we do backtest result, we want to see the strategy, whatever we use, actually has any edge against the market, meaning that it can be better. It can actually generate some positive return. That is really important. Now, let's have a look at this daily return probability distribution. As you can see, my return is all over, and also it has the same probabilities, which means the probability of -2 or +2 is kind of the same. It is not concentrated anywhere. So it is all over, as if it is just random. Now, look at this one. This one is slightly better than the other one. It is more concentrated in the middle. And the probability of -2 or +2, the extreme cases, is lower the ones in the middle. So it is slightly better. At least I know more probability over the middle of this distribution diagram. Okay, how about this? This one, it has a hump shape, which means like most of my return is around that number. And the probability that I get extreme cases, -2 or +2%, is really low. So if I put them together, you can see the one on the right has like lower probability on the tail, which means extreme cases. But the one on the left, it is all over. It doesn't have any meaning. As if there were no real edge for that strategy or whatever generated this capital return. The return is everywhere. I would suggest, if you are interested in analyzing your return in more analytic ways, have a look at the other videos in this comment. I hope this video helped you to avoid illusion of your backtest return and avoid losing money in real trading. I would recommend to take a snapshot of your backtest return and put it in the comment section. If you like this content, it means a lot to me if you like and subscribe. And also, if you think I'm missing something, please leave it in the comment section. Thanks for watching and chat later.